Hello, everyone. Patricia Wagner here, together today with Doherty Wesley. Welcome, Doherty.
Hello, Patricia. Nice to be here.
Oh, it's so nice to have you here. We are continuing tonight in our series on attuning our minds to God mind. And Doherty has offered to share her most effective practices, spiritual practices, and how she has kept that connection going. And I can just vouch that because of that work that she has put in, we are reaping the benefits of the wisdom that pours through her. I just want to give a real brief introduction because we've already had a member introduction, in which it was more explicitly explained what she is all about and the work that she does. But just briefly, Doherty Wesley is a practical visionary, an award-winning best-selling author, attorney, speaker, death diva, and wisdom sharer. And she offers so many aspects of this wisdom through various sources on her YouTube and social media channels, and through various mini courses now that are being offered that are so powerful. And Doherty's website is dohertywesley.com. Doherty is spelled Darity. Wesley is Wesley.com. Welcome, Doherty.
Thank you, Patricia. It's so wonderful to be here.
So can you start out by, and I do want you to work in some way, the fact that you were an attorney for 35 years, those spiritual practices that you have developed through the decades, I only imagine that that particular practice had within it some challenges to keep that divine connection
Oh,
going.
yes.
That was a powerful training, like boot camp, for you to develop your profound ability
I had
to
lots of
stay in
tests,
that
yeah.
connection. Yeah.
Yeah.
So please share part of that, and then also now your most effective spiritual practices to keep you attuned to to God mind. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
As an attorney, I found that I spent a lot of time learning how to be my best self in those circumstances. Folks have expectations about what attorneys are, and I always loved that people would say, "You're an attorney?" I go, "Yeah, I'm an attorney." And I was a privacy and information security lawyer, and I did intellectual property. And prior to that, I was a corporate lawyer for 20 years. And then for the last 15 years, I was um, at private practice, my own practice within the real estate industry. But each and every opportunity I had as a lawyer gave me an opportunity to be who I was. And that to me was the exploration of life. And that is the exploration that we're all in now, I feel. And so as I would explain to people all the time that an attorney is what I do, it's not who I am. Because I kept running into attorney so-and-so, I'm attorney so-and-so, and I'm attorney. And I would remind people constantly, it's what I do, it's not who I am. And it's the same thing with life, I think. And for me to share my effective spiritual practices for um, attuning to the spirit mind, to God mind, I think one of my most important ones that I use, the most effective for me, is that of being present and bringing myself to the present moment. And I think they're two different things, really. I really found out about the concept of being in the present moment when I read Ram Dass' book back in the early 70s, Be Here Now. And of course, this got popularized during the 80s or the 90s with Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now. And this took being in the present moment into the mainstream, where people all of a sudden became aware that we could indeed be in the present moment. And what that meant was it allowed our love and our compassion and our understanding to flow more freely as we brought ourselves to the present moment. When we bring ourselves to the present moment, it also is one of the tools I use to tame my monkey mind, because the monkey mind wants to interfere when we want to be in the present moment, because the monkey mind likes to focus on yesterday what happened yesterday? And oh my goodness, what's going to happen tomorrow? And oh. And so in order to bring ourselves back from that monkey mind is to be in the present moment. And presence, I think, is different. I think when I bring myself to my presence is when I am able to attune. There's many ways to do it, but it's a new level of awareness is what it is. Bring yourself to be present, right? Bring you be fully present. It's a conscious choice, of course, to bring yourself fully present, but it's a new level of awareness. And with that new level of awareness brings a connection to all that is. A lot of times I'm not sure how to get there. And sometimes all I have to do, and I realize now, all I have to do is look out the window or look up at a tree. So look at the sun or the rock, the trees, the sky, birds, the bees buzzing. That takes us out of ourselves and into the ability to touch spirit in a way that we don't ordinarily. So being present is what I feel is one of the most important, essential tools for me to get to that place to allow the spirit to open. Excuse me. I found that the practice of presence is really an ancient wisdom sharing, and yet it's something that has got lost through the course of civilization, I feel. And now, of course, it's back now and something that we really need to use to tune ourselves to that voice within, to the God mind that she talks about. So how do we do that? I think one of the most important things, other than looking outside the window, is to breathe. Taking a deep breath in to bring yourself present and put the monkey mind aside. Breathing in deep, deep, and then being the witness. What am I doing right now? Just being the witness, not making any judgment on it, not trying to figure out what you're doing or say, do this, do that, or the other, just observing. Being the witness is one of the best things we can do in our lives. It also is another one of those taming the monkey mind, because when you're being the witness, you're watching what you're doing, not judging it, and seeing, being here. And then the next moment comes, and then the next moment comes. This is a practice. It's not an easy thing because we're distracted on a regular basis. But bring yourself back to the present moment and breathe, breathing, always coming back to the breath. And then after you come back to the breath, then it's about letting it all go. Letting it all go. Just relaxing into who you are. Being. Presence is also a state of being. And with that, we have the opportunity to what I call turning up the volume. And how do we do that? We get quiet. I was in a meditation with Barbara Max Hubbard years and years and years ago. And then as we were meditating, that was one of the messages I got from Spirit, turn up the volume. Because we think about the God mind, that still small voice within us, and it is very soft most of the time because we're so busy with the monkey mind, the ego, all the things that are going on in the in the higher brain, that our voice within is very soft. And so many people are not even able to recognize it. So that became another practice for me, turning up the volume. Every year on my birthday, I am given a spiritual journey for the year, which is a very interesting experience, I'll tell you, because usually at the first of the year when I'm given it on my birthday, which is the beginning of my year, I wonder, how am I going to do this? I remember one year getting connect at the heart level. And I'm like, what does that mean? And it took me a whole year in order to realize it. And one year I was speaking at a conference, and I was as an attorney on intellectual property. And I remember when I finished, I was like, oh, that was horrible. My monkey mind just came in. It's like, oh, that was terrible, 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 terrible. And so I went into, so I was sitting in another person who was speaking. I was sitting at the back of the room, and I said, connect at the heart level with this audience. So I started connecting at the heart level with this audience all the way around. And then about halfway through another side, a woman got up and walked to the back of the room to get some water back where I was sitting. And she looked at me and she said, oh, I was in your session. You were wonderful. And to me, it was like, This is what connecting at the heart level is. This was a new practice. I remember the year I was given, turn up the volume. And so I passed that on. Start turning up the volume. How do we do that? You know, you can yell in your head. You can yell, I love you in your head, quietly, not quietly, in your head. And you can whisper, I love you in your head. Those are two different experiences. When you turn up the volume on the voice within, when you attune to the God mind, you're better able to make clearer decisions about your life. What's meaningful, what's not, who to trust, who not to trust. These are the kind of clarity that comes from exercising these spiritual practices, which really support our ability to live a more peaceful, balanced life. So that's one of mine. Another one is open to experience. Open to experience. It's called openness to me. I didn't know that. Spirit gave me that. I thought, openness, what the heck is that? But it was like, no, being open to experience. So when you bring yourself fully present, you're open to experience whatever too, without judgment, without attachment. Practices, I promise you, this is not something you just do on a regular basis, but it's a beginning practice that brings you into a level of coherence, a level of balance, a level of resonance that you may not have had before. And why? Why do you do that? Why do we do this? I think whether you realize it or not, the greatest power you have as a human being is to raise your own consciousness, your own level of awareness to a level of wisdom and skill that you haven't had before. And whether your consciousness is raised suddenly or over time, what that brings is a new level of awareness that you haven't had before. And so the work, the practice, gives us a new level of understanding. And what comes from that is to acknowledge and realize that when we do that, when we raise our own consciousness, when we awaken more, we raise the consciousness of humanity. What we feed the field matters. And in feeding the field, we support our planet, our cosmos, the growth and the evolution of ourselves and everything that's here in us. And that's attunement. So be present, turn up the volume, and be aware that you have the power to feed the field with your love, your compassion, your gratitude. Those kind of things are the things that feed the field that are going to change our world. It's going to take time, but it's what works. I know, you can do it. It's just a matter of practice. I think those are my main ones.
Oh, I told you she was a wealth of wisdom. That was wonderful, Doherty. That was so comprehensive and it was very wonderful. Thank you for sharing all of that. I want to remind everybody that Doherty not only has her YouTube channel that she has these little vignettes, but she has several award-winning books out and the workbooks that go with it. Here's one of them, if I can get through that digital. You can transform your life, and this is the Go Deeper workbook. And then here's the How to Be the Real You Go Deeper workbook, and then corresponding books that go with each of those workbooks. But those are very powerful, and they cover all of the topics that she's already spoken about in really asking questions that help us to get in touch with what's really going on inside. So they're valuable tools, valuable tools. So thank you so much for sharing. Thank you, Doherty. That was wonderful.
Well, thank you, Patricia, for the opportunity to share my thoughts and feelings. I so appreciate it.
Uh, Well, thank you so much. And we'll be hearing more from Doherty Wesley, I'm sure, in the days and months and years to come. So thank you, Doherty, very much. God bless you. And thank you, everybody in our membership and our community, our Living in Hearts and a Gratitude community. Each and every one of you, your presence is so valuable, just like what Doherty just said. As we raise our consciousness, it elevates the consciousness of humanity. So it's very important work by each and every one of us that we're doing right now. So thank you. Thank you. And bye for now.